Welcome to PaddyCast. In this episode, we're joined by a proper Harman, former British and Commonwealth champion and five-time world title challenger, Martin Murray. Hey, Martin, how you getting on?
Yeah, I'm all right. Thanks, mate. To you?
All good, all good. Now, Martin, before we get started here, I remember, was it 2 years ago? The last year of my career, anyway, I was messing with Frampton, and he got Jimmy Moore to phone me, pretend to be you. Frampton pretended I was giving you grief, and he got Jimmy pretend that you were reading at me.
Yeah, he changed his name on the WhatsApp group, didn't he?
And he was, and you were having none of it, and you were giving me a phone saying that I was going to get it, and that, and I'm not joking. It's no lie. I was on the brink of retirement, so I never had to bump me again.
Oh, they were showing me what he was saying. I was like, "Oh no, you can't have him thinking that."
It's panicking.
Oh mate, your replies were quality, Paddy.
They're all fun and games, but anyway, I want to know, Martin, like, from your early days, how you actually get started as a boxer, both amateur. Well, sorry, amateur.
Yeah,
boxer,
well, obviously, there's always been a pair of boxing gloves at family, like, but my mum didn't box me, obviously, but my dad did box. So the only thing it was, like, my mum's dad, my father, was the secretary at our local boxing club, and he was best mates with John Chisnall, who was my first amateur coach. And Chizzy had a big passion about getting kids off the streets and getting them in a gym. And yeah, there was the area where I'm from, St Helens, produced loads of fighters because of Johnny Chiz. And like I said, he had a passion for it, and one day he pulled up on his estate, on our estate, in his van, and just threw me at back of it. Which, like, you won't get away with these days, but obviously everyone loved him and respected him, and just said, right, second at gym, and took me to gym. So I went there at 7, and then it was kind of just went a couple of times. And when I was 10, my best mate at the time, Steve Birch, was going, so I went there then and kind of just stuck with it then, mate, till I was like 18.
Tell me, Stephen Birch, he was the middleweight amateur.
Yeah, that's right, mate. Yeah,
world bronze medalist, did he get?
Yeah, bronze medalist, silver at Commonwealth Games. He was like proper class. Stay, couldn't half fight, like.
Yeah, I actually remember. He's a boxer, Estelle. If I'm right.
He's what, mate?
Estelle was like a upright boxer, if I'm correct.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right. He couldn't get great counter puncher, like just a quality fight. Just think could bang as well.
Yeah, I remember him. Like, so see, when you were an amateur, did you win any national titles or anything like that?
Like, well, I was always tiny, me, Paddy, like, as a kid growing up. So, like, when I was 16, I won the schoolboys. My last year of school, I won the schoolboy championships at 45 kg, which is 7 stone. And Craig Lyon, one of my good mates from St Helens. Obviously, Craig's small. Craig was in the weight above me at 7.5 stone, and then Craig never really went much past that. He was like 4 to 8 stone, I think. As a pro, he fought at bantam, I think, maybe super bantam. But it kind of, I had a break me when I was 18, and I proper filled out then, because I was dieting all my life, and by giving myself a break from boxing, I allowed my body to grow. So we had a couple of years out and come back, and then 2004 I won ABAs. So I won senior ABAs at welterweight in 2004.
So you turned pro in 2007, but like, that was the year of the Olympic qualifiers. Like, did that ever tempt you?
Well, what it was, mate, I had a couple of years out of boxing because I was finding myself obviously partying, but then I kind of went down the wrong path, and I ended up in jail, and then I got out, and then I won ABAs, and then he ended up back in jail again. But when I went to ABAs, I ended up fighting for England. I got put on Commonwealth selection squad.
Yeah.
So I was kind of aiming towards that, like, I was aiming towards the Commonwealth
Melbourne.
Games and Olympics. That was my dream, but
yeah,
I ended up getting back nicked and going back to jail. So it kind of like scuppered all my plans, you know what I mean? And then come 2006, I decided to have another blast, and I went with John Lyon then, Craig Lyon's dad. I had 4 fights with him at Wigan. He looked after me. John got me back on my feet with it. And 2-7. I was touching 25 when I turned professional. So I was I was quite late as a pro really, but I lost a lot, mate, with them years where I was acting stupid. You know what I mean?
So it's fair to say boxing has changed your life.
Without a shadow of a doubt, mate. Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, going back to that, it'd have been my dream to have done what you did, mate. But it never worked out that way for me. But boxing well and truly changed my life, mate. Pull me from the brink of anything could have happened. At that stage in my life, the word I was mentally, I was in a dark place, and it's it proper saved me, mate. Because I'm pretty sure now, if I kind of when I was kind of in my head, I was ready for settling down and sorting my head out. I just met my wife, Gemma. So kind of trying to sort it out for myself and get back into boxing and meeting her, it kind of went hand in glove, do you know what I mean, mate? And everything just started working then. But I reckon if I hadn't got back in boxing and I met Gemma and really started knuckling down, I dread to think where I could be now. You know what I mean? I think I was only destined for go back jail or end up dead or something, mate. I don't know. So boxing literally has saved my life, mate, and it's turned my life around and give me a life I've always wanted, really.
It's a great story. Like you saying that there, it shows no matter who you are or your background, there's always a chance in life if you want it, basically. And fair play, you took it with both hands.
Yeah, definitely, mate. You should never let your past determine your future. And I was kind of mentally, I was kind of me I was just one bad thing after another, and I felt like my life was spiraling out of control. And then I just thought enough was enough, and really knuckled down, mate. And I thought, no, you know what, I'm gonna have a good go at this. I'm gonna turn my life around, and I did, mate. I had a troubled past, but through hard work, mate, I managed to turn it around. And like you said, Paddy, anyone can do that, mate. It's not just in boxing, just in any walk of life. If you truly want to change your life, mate, I honestly believe that you can.
Now you've had a massively long career, and a very, even though you didn't win a world title, but it's very successful one. I'm not going to go into too much because I'll be here all night talking about your career. So I'll talk about your world title fights. Your first world title shot against Felix Sturm, ended in a draw. Now, definitely should have been world champion that night, right there. So how devastating was to take that draw? You can say the loss. So how devastating was it for you?
You know what? It wasn't. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was gutted, but at the same time, it wasn't a loss.
Yeah.
It wasn't a loss on my record.
Draw,
and I only just announced myself on the world stage, so I I was thinking at the time I knew I'd get there with it. Obviously, I didn't end up getting 5 unsuccessful world title attempts, but I was just thinking, well, this is just a start.
Yeah, of course.
So I remember I flew after that fight. My wife and all my family flew out. We were due to get married, fly out and get married in Caribbean. Me and Jem on that day. Obviously, we booked 18 months previous. So then come the day, obviously the fight was there. I had to go over. Jem and all the kids went over to Caribbean. So I kind of flew over straight to Caribbean from Germany. Met up with them 3 or 4 days later. Got married 5 days later, and you know what? Like everything was good, mate. I just got married. I was at Caribbean. I just announced myself on world stage. I thought my next fight's only going to be big, but then obviously, I ended up fighting in a 6 rounder 6 months later. So it was that was a good, mate. But then obviously, I just had to claw myself back up to the Martinez fight, which was 2 years later? Yeah.
I suppose like before we go on the Martinez fight, the draw against Sturm, you were straight into a positive money in your way, Jam and I.
Yeah.
And plus, as you said before, like that fight against Sturm proved to everyone that you belonged to our level and you know yourself
Yeah.
there. So there was so much positive take, and the way your personality is, you're able to take them personal positives. Whereas someone else could have said, "No, what, fuck it," but you resilience basically. But
Yeah, you know what, mate? It's never really bothered me. Like even the Martinez one didn't bother me. The one that really bothered me, which was my hardest fight, was Golovkin, because like that was the time where I really felt that I'd been beat. I knew I'd been beat. You know what I mean? Physically and mentally, I knew I was beaten. That was like that was hard to take and hard to get my head round. But the ones before it, like I said, I don't know if it's because I didn't actually felt like I was physically beat. I still, it still didn't bother me, but the Golovkin fight did. But even all them aside, Paddy, there's always been more to boxing.
of course,
For me, so it's always been about my family, and I've always kind of looked at boxing as kind of like a job, really, and a way providing for my family. And to be honest with you, like everything I did before I turned pro, like I was just really grateful and lucky and appreciated everything.
yeah,
You know what I mean, mate? Because like where I come from and what I ended up achieving is, it's far more than anybody would have ever thought where I got to, mate. So, what I did well out of boxing, mate, considering.
100%. Very,
So
very, very successful career. Very successful career.
yeah. I mean, I forget how many years it was now, mate, but I ended up a fossil. That's how I felt.
I think it was about 40 years. Was it?
that's how it felt, mate. Honestly, I felt like a fossil.
No, like see, even the Martinez fight, you had him down in the 8th round. Like, what was going through your head when he was down? Think this was it.
Yeah, I think, you know what, like the first one in the Martinez one, it was like it was just a straight right. Me and Oliver working on these shots, and Oliver nailed them tactics down to a T that fight, and just said that like not only me but Oliver didn't get the result that we both deserved, but
Yeah,
it was the round 10 where we really put him down, and I thought that was when he went down ever. But obviously he was getting away with everything,
of course.
in when he got extra time in the corner, and you know what, he just did what he did kind of in there. And you know what, I kind of was doing a little bit. He was old when I fought Martinez. When I fought Martinez, he was old, and he was just the experience in a fight. Yourself. Just getting these little breathers in there, trying to take you off the game. And this is how I knew I was old in my last fight, because I started doing some things in the fight that Martinez was doing to me.
The way he's head.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, like I put him down heavy in round 10, and you know, I think that was. I might not be 100% right on this, but I think that was the only fight where they've ever used instant replay in a fight.
All right.
Yeah, and they tried it for this fight, and obviously they went back on the instant replay. It was a clear knockdown, but the judges still said it was a slip, but it wasn't, mate. I knocked him down clean, and what I'm trying to get round to saying is, I think even if I'd have won by knocking him out, I still think they would have found a way to disqualify him. There was no way I was ever going to get it over there, but you've got to take the opportunities when they put
100%.
you away, mate, haven't you?
Like, in your next pro title fight after that, there, you fought Golovkin when no one else ever wanted to fight him. And you took him further than anyone else ever did at that stage.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you how tough, or hard it was facing him. And the reason I'm asking that is because everyone sees Golovkin as a massive puncher, which he is, but
yeah,
extremely technical as well.
Yeah, that's it, Paddy. That's the thing. What surprised me most about him, mate. He's so technical. His ring general shape, you know, his variety. You know, everything he did everything well, mate. Not well. He did everything extremely well, and yeah, like just the way, just the way he opened me up, just the way he just the way he read me, how he caught me with that shot, like he was trying to land the left hook beforehand, and we'd worked on this because we'd seen him put a few people away from me with a left hook to the body. Oliver had me working on this little thing where every time he threw a left hook to the body, you step into it for, you know, cushion the blow, don't give him the range for find where he needs to, you know, the area he needs to find. And not once did he land a shot in the fight, but he got onto it, and this is how clever he was. He got onto it and he swung that right that just come out of nowhere and took the wind out my sails, mate. And you know, there was a lot of damage then for obviously rest of that 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I took a lot of damage.
Yeah.
I took a lot of damage, and you know, like me and Oliver worked on this shot as well. Like when we was on the ropes, right uppercut, left uppercut, right up, left hook, dead sharp, like bam, 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 just hitting with 4 shots, and we caught him clean with it. Like, you know, when he was on ropes, and we had it, he had me on ropes, and we caught him clean with these shots, and he just took him on his chin and just shook his head at me. You know what I mean? He was like, it was like fighting RoboCop, mate. I'm not, you know. I'm not joking, but he was just a quality operator, and you know, it was never my intentions to go the furthest with him, and that was the fight where, like I said, it really got to me because I really thought I was going to win. Even when I got put down, I get back to corner.
Yeah,
me and Oliver were just like, listen, you know, you've got to go through the bad times to get to the best times of your life. And I just believe, mate. I did believe, but obviously we all know what happened. But you know what? It was a pleasure to share a ring with him. Do you know what I mean?
Legend he is. Legend.
Yeah, and that's it. And you know what? He's a good guy as well too. You know what I mean?
But so faces at the same time.
Good guy. It's what, mate?
He's so nice, but so faces at the same time.
Oh no, mate. Yeah, he's an animal. But back then, like nobody would fight him, and I kind of signed into the deal when I ended up going to South Africa and signing with Rodney Burnham and Golden Gloves, and that was the 3 fights in Monte Carlo, finishing with Golovkin. So I knew what I was signing into, mate, when I did it. But I've always just wanted to test myself against the best mates.
And like, you go on, another world title, Arthur Abraham.
Yeah.
a split decision loss in Germany again.
Yeah.
Did you think, like, even before getting in the ring, that a KO was needed to beat him?
You know what, mate? I didn't. You know what? I didn't. And, it's kind of, it doesn't sit well with that fight, really. And the reason being is, like, I thought I won the fight. Yeah, I thought I won the fight. I forget, I think it was a Canadian judge who scored it for me. And when I scored it, I had it exactly how we had it. And obviously the other two had it for Abraham.
Yep.
But I thought I did win that fight. But in the same breath, I thought I left it a bit too close to calling Germany. I didn't leave it all in the ring. And that was that's obviously a regret that I not that I have to live with, because I'm not asked, mate. My career's over. It is what it is. But yeah, that fight, it was like I said, I thought I won it, but I left it a bit too close to calling Germany. And the thing is, everybody goes Germany, like you said. You think you have to knock them out for a decision over there, and I've experienced a dodgy decision over there, so I should have learned really off my mistakes, and I never made. Like I said, I didn't leave it all in there, and I should have done. But it is what it is.
Like, George Groves is another big name you fought. He was reaching his peak, but when you fought, after you fought George, did you think he had what it took to become world champion?
What George did?
Yeah. Do you think?
Yeah, of course I did. Yeah. See, the thing is, Paddy, like, and you could say, like, I didn't. As I got older, my power dwindled. Like, at middleweight, I didn't really carry the proper power at super middleweight because I wasn't physically big enough.
Yeah.
George Groves can whack, mate. Let me tell you, the hardest person who I've been in the ring with, for a one punch.
Yeah.
Groves, I felt the power most of Groves. Like thudding power.
Yeah.
I remember, like, we first went out there, and he threw a right hand, and it whizzed past my head, and I thought, fuck that. No way am I taking that. And my plan, I mean, I wasn't 100% at the time. That's no excuse, but I wasn't. But the plan was to be on him and work him, and gas him. Pretty much like Chudinov did. We ended up fighting Chudinov and winning world title after me. But Chudinov kind of did what I wanted to do. But I think if I'd have done that way, I'd have only ended up how Chudinov would have ended up. How Chudinov ended up, because he ended up.
He was over exerting to get clipped, and then that was game over. Groves just capitalized on straight away.
That's it, mate. And he power, like, if you keep getting hit by shots like that, especially off Groves, mate, something's got to give. And kind of, I remember getting back. I had a good 9 up until he threw a right hand, and it just got in between my gloves. I didn't see it, and he just, like, hit me with a right hand. And sorry, mate. He hit me with the right hand, and I didn't see it. All I just felt is my legs go, my knees went. Anyway, I managed to catch myself, and I went back to the corner after the round, and Oliver was after pulling me out. Oliver and Frank Hopkins was after pulling me out, and I'm like, oh, please, just give me one more round. Just give me one more round. That's all I need. And he said, well, go out now and show me something. And obviously I went out, mate, and I just went out a free for all. And them last 3 rounds, honestly, if nobody's watched it or you've not watched it, watch it, mate. It was mad. Mate, I stood up at one round. I watched it a few months ago. Like when Groves hit me, I went to the corner, cut up through my legs, and when I stood up, like when Oliver was going to pull me out, and then my legs felt like they were like they'd been electrocuted. They felt on fire. My legs were just buzzing, and then I stood up right, and David A shouted, "Get on him now, Groves! He's buzzed." And I was thinking, "Fucking shut up, you dickhead!" Because that's literally how I felt. I was proper buzzed, but then obviously ended up going out there, and we just ended up a free for all. But obviously, the better man won the better boxer won on the night. But again, you know what, I was made up that he went on and won a world title because he deserves to be world champion.
Like, even though that you'd only lost to the very best in the division, do you feel like your win over Rosado put you right back in the mix?
No, not really. Like, to be honest with you, Paddy, like, I look now like at what Rizzardo's doing. I mean, I never watched it, but I believe he pushed Jacobs the other month. Rizzardo's been about a long time, and when I fought him, like, I think they gave it me by about 3 or 4 rounds, which I thought was right. Technically, I don't think he's that good. Like, and I don't mean that. Like, he's good. Don't get me wrong, but because I'd fought better boxers, I noticed the difference. But one thing was he's a tough bastard. He is, and we knew we was always going to push it. When you're behind in fights and you've got to, like Oliver said to me, go out, show me something. Like, you find it from somewhere. Now, Rosado always does that. He's tough, and obviously he's still going. And I wish him all the best, but kind of that fight wasn't what people thought it would be, because Rosado was known for being tough. I'm known for being tough. I was known for being tough, and people thought it'd be a war. But like, I was kind of thinking it'd be a war if he can take me to them places where I feel like it needs to be a war, and I didn't think that he could. So from that fight, really, it was like, well, where am I going to go? And then, now it happened for me. Like, after that, I was a reserve on that. Was it the Super 8? What they call it? What Callum Smith was?
Oh, the
boxing Super Series. Yeah, I was a reserve for that in September or October, I think it was. And obviously after that, mate, I had to part company with Matchroom. I didn't want to, but I was offered the Billy Joe fight. He was with Frank Warren at the time, so I thought, like, beggars can't be choosers. I've got to take what I can.
Of course.
And this fight was there, so obviously I went over. And as people know it, like boxing fans, he pulled out twice, and then I was like with Frank Warren then, and then he went to Matchroom, and I thought, wow, I've proper been shit on here. Do you know what I mean? I thought I've proper been done. But then fair play to mates, he come through at the end and obviously honoured the fight. Timed right, like he said after the fight. I'd have loved to have been 2.5 years earlier, like it was meant to be, because in that fight, Paddy, like I said, then you find it from somewhere, and Oliver said it to me in the Groves fight, like, he said, go out and show me something. Like, if Jamie and Nigel would have said that to me in the Billy Joe fight in the last few rounds, I could have got hurt, mate, because I didn't have it there, Paddy. I didn't have it there, mate. And I'm glad they never. You know what I mean? He proper looked after me there. He knew how I was feeling. And that's why, mate, after fight, like, and I knew it was time.
Yeah. Like, even though you were like, obviously, you weren't at your best, at your peak, because you're age against Billy Joe Saunders, but like, having fought the best in the division, you fought the number one consistently. Like, do you think like Billy Joe has what it takes to compete against the likes of Canelo?
I don't think anybody beat Canelo, mate.
Yeah.
I don't. I think Callum Smith was the one at 12 stone. And if Callum Smith can't beat him, I don't think anyone will. But listen, when you get them big fights, I know you raise your game, and who knows what can happen in boxing. I wish him all the best. The fighting out, the fighting in May.
Yeah.
I do wish him all the best, and I'd love it win, but I can't. I can't see him doing it, mate. Like I said, I hope he does. Thing is, like with our fight, he's like I didn't like I knew, like I said, going back to why I knew it was time. I didn't have the gears, so I didn't have the gears in between what I was doing. Some of the rounds were only close, and if I'd have had the gears like he had a few years before, I know that I could have done what it took to get the rounds and get him in the bank, but I didn't. Now, Canelo's got gears upon gears, mate. He's elite. He's
very active
obviously
too.
fit. He punches like a mule. He's obviously a far better fighter than me. So I just kind of, I can't see it, but I really do wish him all the best.
Yeah. Well, it's boxing, so anything can happen, like, really. But
Exactly.
in regards to yourself, like, what's next for you? Is there anything in the pipeline, like coaching or anything else outside of boxing?
Yeah, I've been just going down, popping down gym, seeing lads, helping out a little bit, only once a week. There's a young kid in St. Helens who wants me training, he wants to turn pro. But obviously everybody's knackered now, mate, with everything that's going on in it. I'd hate be a young pro starting out. I feel sorry for him. But no, I've just got obviously a few other little things going, mate. I'm currently co-writing the script for the movie on my life.
Brilliant.
My life story. So
Can't wait to
I'm
it.
I'm co-writing that with a lady called Mary Bing from America, a film producer. So we're working on that. I'm gonna start doing some online training soon as well. So just kind of like just a few bits, mate, just for keep me busy. But think over years, Paddy, and you'll know this yourself, mate. And it's like me and you speaking earlier on about what time was going on, and you was like, oh well, I do it this late because of kids.
Yeah.
Like, you like now you retired, mate. You put them first, don't you?
100%.
And you put your family. Like I've always done that first, but you know yourself when you're in a fight and you're in a training camp, you've got to be a little bit selfish and put your needs and training first. Whereas now, mate, I'm just more focused on just making sure they're all right, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thing is, Paddy, like my wife Jem, she's sacrificed her whole career for me. She's a social worker, and by trade, that's what she went uni for. And then we had the kids, and she couldn't work because I was training. So I think it's only right now, mate, that I kind of sacrifice,
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah.
myself for her, mate. So you know what, mate, I'm in still no retirement, but I'm enjoying it, and yeah, just enjoying spending time with family, really, mate.
Brilliant. Before we end, Martin, we're going to do a quick fire question, man. Okay?
Oh, is it out there with boxing?
You could say that.
because I couldn't pick my nose, but
Oh,
go on.
it's basically about you. It's about you.
Right, it's all right, mate.
If you could choose a different sport, what would it be?
Rugby league.
Rugby league. Who would you say was your greatest rival?
Greatest rival. I didn't have one, mate, and that was the sad thing. That's why I couldn't get the big British fights. But also, but there was that thing with me and Macklin, but there was no in it, like, you know what I mean? But I didn't have a rival.
Yeah. Pre-fight superstition?
Oh, my pre-fight. Oh, it was like I used to always say a little prayer to me trainer John Chisnall, and then obviously it was always that was the only thing I used to really do. Just go and have a little minute to myself.
Yeah.
Have a little word to myself, say a little prayer. So obviously to Chizzy, and then it ended up Oliver. So that was it, really, mate. Apart from that, I didn't really do it.
Did you have a favorite quote or a favorite saying?
What do you mean? Like you mean just in life, or?
Just in life in general, like, yeah.
Don't let the highs get you too high. Don't let the lows get you too low.
Yeah, basically, yeah. No, it's me out there, yeah.
You are the good times, man. Ride the bad.
Exactly. Final question is your favorite sports person, past or present?
Favorite sports person. Oh God, mate, I don't know. You mean like someone who was like a fan of?
Aye, or someone who you would admire in sport. Not just boxing, could be anyone. Like,
I can't think. You know, Paddy. I'm. Who can I say? I'm. You know what, mate? I can't really think here. There'll be someone different, and I know. And
probably someone like Peter Beardsley or something.
Peter Beardsley. No, that. Are you there, mate? I don't know what happened. You know what? I don't know, and you know, after this, I'll be thinking, oh, why didn't I say that? But I'm just gonna say, as a kid growing up, for me, I love Nigel Benn.
Nigel Benn, that's a very good person.
So I'll just have to say Nigel Benn.
Well, tell you, Martin, it was a pleasure to have you on, and you're a brilliant guest. And thanks very much for taking your time out for the podcast.
No, pleasure, Paddy. Thanks for asking me. Come on, mate. I really enjoyed talking to you.